Nigerians mourn the demise of Minister of State Labour, James Ocholi. President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with the government and people of Kogi State, just as Borno State government inaugurates committee to regulate the sale and slaughter of livestock. This and more on today's NTA News Panorama with me, Isaac Kunkuma. Thanks for joining us. Starting on a very sad note, Minister of State, Labour and Productivity, James Ocholi, is dead. He died in a car crash along Kaduna-Abuja highway yesterday. Mr. Ocholi, a senior advocate of Nigeria from Kogi State, died alongside his wife and son. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed shock and sadness at the death of Minister of State, Labour and Productivity, James Ocholi, who he said had a long record of political association with him. President Buhari described his death as untimely, regretting that Nigeria has lost a key component of the change agenda. Describing late Ocholi as an accomplished and patriotic Nigerian, President Buhari noted that in a few months in office, the late Minister of State had already begun to distinguish himself through his commitment and dedication to his portfolio. President Buhari consoles the government and people of Kogi State for the loss of a distinguished and irreplaceable son and prayed God to comfort them. Meanwhile, Mr. President has sent the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, David Babachir, to formally convey the sad news to members of the deceased family as well as parishioners in his place of worship. Wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Shibajo, has called for urgent need to protect the girl child from all forms of abuse as presently being witnessed. She said this on the occasion of this year's Mother's Day. State House correspondent Jido Nifade attended the special service organized for mothers by the State House Chapel.
The wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Shibajo, described the girl child in the society today as greatly endangered with the numerous challenges the girl child is made to face. More dangerous are the issues of rape and all sorts of abuses the girl child is exposed to, pointing out that the girls of today are mothers of tomorrow. And as mothers, they would be saddled with the task of teaching children the right way in an orderly society.
If they are stolen and raped, beaten and abandoned, if they are not trained, they would not be the mothers we have today, tomorrow, and they would not be celebrated.
In a word of admonition, Pastor Becky Eneche urged mothers to do more in showing the right direction to their children and to pray for them always.
Ensure that your parents are well taken care of.
This was followed with a cutting of cake and presentation of gifts to the First Lady of the country, Aisha Buhari, received on her behalf by the wife of the Vice President, who also receives a personal recognition from mothers in the country.
Men and women of Nigeria, we present this bouquet to you as a token of our love. God bless you. Happy Mother's Day!
In the State House, Jude Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, with the high level of moral decadence in the society today, mothers are set to bear most of the brunt. Some people attribute the moral decay to the divided attention career women pay to the upbringing of their children. More often than not, many mothers are on the edge in their efforts to strike a balance between complementing their husband's role as breadwinners. Deborah Micah tells us about it.
Centuries ago, it was considered important for people, especially domestic servants, to return to their homes or mother church once in a year in the middle of Lent to pay tributes to motherhood. However, this was due to their overwhelming influence in homes and nation building. Since then, the story changed as Mother's Day celebration now births a vibrant celebration with people celebrating motherhood around the world, presenting mothers with special gifts to recognize their hard work. But then, the level of moral decadence in the society has continued to pose challenges to mothers.
The world is good or the world is bad starts from a home, starts from a family. So if every mother plays their role as a role model after the likeness of our Blessed Virgin Mother Mary, the world will be a better place.
We have many challenges as a mother, and since it's difficult now for Nigeria to train the children, pay school fees.
We have our children is that these days, how I put it, social media, no matter how much you try to bring up your children, they have access to all this social media.
The value and significance of a mother, especially as role model, according to the scriptures, cannot be overemphasized.
The situation in the country now, there is no morning devotion in the house, and if we don't put God first, what happens to us? We need to bring God before any other thing. We should create time for our Lord Jesus Christ before you depart your home in the morning. There should be a family prayer.
Good mothers know that it is not a job they should accept.
Informed instructions, working mothers pass to domestic helps before leaving homes to their place of work are often conveyed by domestic helps who do otherwise.
It's a mother that delivers the child, but the child is for everybody to be taken care of. If you look at what is happening now, in our own days, if anything goes wrong, any parents can discipline you. But now, if you beat any child that has done anything wrong, the result will be the parents can even arrest whoever has disciplined their child outside their home.
Servants or what have you, and they are not being properly cared for.
Mother's Day is being celebrated annually around the world on different days. For Catholics and Protestant Christians, the celebration falls on the fourth Sunday of Lenten period. In Abuja, Deborah Micah, NTA News.
And away from the Mother's Day celebration, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has solicited the prayers of Nigerians for the success of the present administration. The call was made by the National President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Pastor Ayo Orisejafo, at the inauguration of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN Secretariat in Lagos.
The PFN Secretariat, located in Isolo, Lagos State, provides a rallying point for Pentecostal churches to carry out activities of the fellowship. The CAN president stressed the importance of the church in nation building and maintained that PFN will continue to play a major role in the evolution of Nigeria by identifying with the trust of the government aimed at making Nigeria a great nation.
I'm excited to be a part of this great fellowship.
The PFN president, Reverend Omobude, says the fellowship will continue to be relevant in nation building. The governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, commended PFN for its support for the government of Nigeria and for leading in intercessory prayers for the stability and peace of the country.
When the flaming passions of human condition manifest, it's the Christians that rush back on our knees and things now get calm. Everybody lift your voice and say,
Vivian Idekbefo, NTA News.
Moving on, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyama, says President Jacob Zuma of South Africa's scheduled visit to Nigeria this week will further improve bilateral relations between Nigeria and South Africa. The minister stated this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria. While commenting on the March 8th and 9th visit, the minister expressed hope that it will strengthen the relationship between the two countries. The minister further noted that the visit will also explore trade, culture, and technology. President Zuma is expected to address the joint session of the National Assembly. Onyama also stated that President Zuma and President Buhari would address the South Africa-Nigeria Business Forum. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the National Film Institute Jos will be modeled to play a pivotal role in line with its mandate. The minister said this shortly after inspecting facilities at the institute during his working visit to Jos. Anthony Forson reports.
The Film Institute was established to be Nigeria's foremost training institution under the Nigerian Film Corporation. The institute's program are drawn to cater for filmmakers and intending filmmakers in Nigeria and abroad's need. And so, when the minister came visiting the managing director, Nigerian Film Corporation, Denjuma Dadu, who took the minister round, said the institute has the potential to stand as a world-class institute in filmmaking.
In realizing that with the facilities we now have a lot of facilities. In 2013 alone, we benefited from World Bank. It's a big project. We had a lot of equipment, cameras, we even had a bus. And now with this third with the facilities we have facilities enough to venture into more than film, into media acts because of the interrelationship.
The minister on his part said he is impressed and will work towards ensuring that the institute meet its mandate.
When you look at the Film Corporation especially, it's meant to play a pivotal role in the film industry in Nigeria. The law setting up the Film Corporation actually saddens responsibility for development of the film industry. It also gives it, the responsibility to support the industry, even to give resources and finance, film production and the like. But it's like giving a lot of responsibility, but very little resources to match it. These are areas we are going to look into.
In Jos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the meantime, members of the Alumni Association of National Institute have been advised to rally support for the federal government's anti-graft campaign, given their influential disposition in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the appeal in a lecture at the 36th Annual General Meeting of the association. Here again is Anthony Forson.
The journey so far, the minister maintained that the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari is determined to rid the country of corruption.
This is undoubtedly one of the best platforms anyone can ask for, considering the pedigree of the members of the association and the high rating of NIPS itself.
On the state
that as government is winning the war against terrorism, the Ministry of Interior must urgently and proactively intervene in preventing and apprehending the increased cases of avoidable communal conflicts, as the case now in Agatu has shown.
In Jos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To environment matters now. The present administration says it is set to launch the cleanup of Ogoni land in a matter of weeks. Minister of Environment Amina Mohammed announced this during a visit to Ogoni land. The minister met with key stakeholders and traditional rulers in Ogoni land preparatory to the launch of the Ogoni cleanup exercise. Environment correspondent Aisha Bello Mustafa reports.
Keeping with President Muhammadu Buhari's commitment to implement the United Nations Environmental Programme report on the cleanup of Ogoni land, the Ministry of Environment initiated informal meetings with key stakeholders to ensure inclusiveness. Little wonder then that the youth and people of Ogoni land turned out en masse to welcome the minister and her team.
Your visit was greatly desired with equally high hopes, as it marks the actualization of the collective dream of Ogoni people with respect to the restoration of the devastated environment of the Ogoni people.
At the Peace and Freedom Square, Bori, the welcome was heartwarming. The president of MOSOP said the people welcome the current initiative to consult with them to chart a way forward for Ogoni land. There were questions from different groups with regards to their roles in the cleanup. The Minister of Environment assured the people that everyone will be carried along and that the federal government has identified key activities to be carried out immediately after the launch to enhance the livelihood of the people as well as engender sustainable development.
This is the beginning of the end of the struggle. Therefore, we need everyone to stand united. The issues, the challenges, the injustice, those who have lost their lives to the struggle, did it in the name of the unity and peace and prosperity for Ogoniland. And that's what we must fight for. Peace, unity and prosperity for Ogoniland.
The minister and her team also visited the governors of Bayelsa and Rivers State. The two governors assured the minister that their state governments will give all the necessary support to ensure the success of the cleanup.
Once we begin the cleanup, how do we stay clean? How do we protect the environment? How do we ensure that the young people who are involved in a lot of this no longer feel that they have that option, that their option in fact is a brighter and prosperous future in building their futures within the Niger Delta.
Aisha Bello Mustafa, NTA News.
As part of efforts to block illicit trading of raw-sold livestock by Boko Haram members and their accomplices, Borno State government has inaugurated a committee saddled with the task of regulating sale and slaughter of livestock. Memuna Garba reports that the state government has also banned the sale of dry meat and importation of cattle in the state.
It could be recalled that some weeks back, the Nigerian army ordered the closure of some markets in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states as part of measures to block all supply routes of Boko Haram terrorists in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations. The Maiduguri livestock market and abattoir were among locations affected, leading to their closure, a situation that resulted to scarcity of beef and other livestock products. The Borno State government has also devised a strategy to ensure strict compliance by livestock traders and butchers, with the setting up of a committee to further make it impossible for culprits to engage in illegal business with terrorists. Inaugurating the committee, Governor Kashim Shettima, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Usman Jidashua, said 100 million naira has been released to ensure that cattle traded and slaughtered are sourced legally. He commended the effort of security agents at securing lives and property at the Maiduguri livestock market, which led to the exposure of those who engage in criminal activities at the market. The committee is saddled with restoring sanity and safety in all livestock markets, is headed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Animal Resources and Fisheries, Modu Mustafa. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
We'll now pause for some messages. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Understand the role, challenges, and burden of the police.
Every policeman is an opposite person.
He doesn't run away from problem, he runs towards problem.
Aiding of Justice, NTA News.
Let's do sports now. Nigerian sets new world record with a ball on his head, trekking nearly 50 kilometers as grassroots taekwondo competition ends in Lagos. Details on Sports Update with Adeola Omokivie.
The attempt by 24-year-old Harrison Chinedu to create a new world record was flagged off by the sports minister, who was represented by a director in the National Sports Commission, Mr. Ademola Are. Nigerian-born Harrison Chinedu walked from kilometer 46 Lagos-Ibadan Expressway through Bega, Ojota, Maryland, Ojuelegba, and culminated at the main bowl of the National Stadium, where he walked 11 laps, equaling the existing world record of 45.64 kilometers. Chinedu further made additional 6 laps to create a new world record of 48.04 kilometers with a ball on his head in 8 hours, 19 minutes.
It makes me happy and it brings my talent out for the world to see.
It's a source of motivation even for the athletes, some of whom are presently in camp, that will be representing Nigeria at the Olympic Games.
I found out that there's no gum on the head and this ball is of approved standard. That is exactly what has happened.
We are open to assist every Nigerian who has talent, at least to put Nigeria's name in the good books of world records.
The grassroots taekwondo competition aims to attract youngsters to take to the game. 40 children from 6 schools in Lagos converged on the knock-up hall at the National Stadium in Lagos for the one-day under-15 Invitational Taekwondo Championship. The children competed in 14 categories.
To make sure that we have longevity of the